Welcome to Decoding the Python Traceback, a visual field manual for identifying and resolving the 5 most common Python programming errors. Every developer encounters error messages, and the instinctive reaction is panic or frustration. This module reframes that instinct. Python's error messages are not obstacles, they are diagnostic reports. They tell you exactly what went wrong, where in your code it happened, and usually why. Learning to read them fluently is one of the most high-leveraged skills you can develop. This module covers the 5 error types that account for the vast majority of bugs beginners encounter: syntax error, name error, type error, value error, and index error or key error. By the end, you'll be able to read a traceback cold and know exactly where to look. Most important mindset shift in this module. Errors are navigation, not punishment. Most beginners see a red traceback and close the terminal. That's the wrong response. And this slide explains why. Look at both tracebacks on the screen. They contain identical information: the file name, the line number, the function where the execution broke, and the specific error message. The only difference is how you interpret the information. Treated as punishment, it's overwhelming. Treated as navigation, and it's GPS coordinates pointing directly to the bug. Python is telling you exactly what went wrong, where, and usually why. The entire error message is a diagnostic report, and your job is to read it, not fear it. Tracebacks feel overwhelming because humans naturally read top to bottom, but Python prints the most important information last. The golden rule: always start at the bottom of the traceback. The final line is the diagnosis, the error type, and the specific message. That's where you begin. The lines above it are the call stack, the chain of function calls that led to the error. For most bugs, the call stack is context, not the solution. The diagnosis at the bottom and the code line immediately above it are where 90% of the bugs are resolved. The arrow on this slide makes it explicit. Ignore the generic headers at the top, start at the diagnosis at the bottom, and work upward only if you need more context about which function was called. A traceback has 3 structural components. Reading them in numbered order gives you a complete picture of the failure. Component 1, the diagnosis. The bottom line. It shows the error type, name error, and the specific message, name, is not defined. This is your primary clue. Component 2, the code line. The line immediately above the diagnosis shows the exact line of source code where the execution broke. Component 3, the call stack. The chain of the file references and the line numbers above that show how Python arrived at the broken line, which the function called. For most bugs, you only need components 1 and 2. You resolve the error at the code line that triggered the diagnosis. The call stack becomes relevant for complex bugs where the problem originates several function calls above the failure point. Nearly every bug you encounter as a Python developer falls into one of 5 error categories, and each category has a distinct signature. Syntax error and indentation error happen before the script even runs. Python can't parse the code. Name error, type error, value error, and index error, key error happen during the execution. The script start but broke at a specific line. Knowing which category you're in tells you immediately where to look. A syntax error means something is structurally wrong with the code itself. A name error means the variable isn't recognized. A type error means incompatible data types. A value error means the type is right, but the content is invalid. An index error or key error means that you asked for something that doesn't exist in a collection. Syntax error means Python couldn't even parse your code. The structure is malformed before a single line executes. The most common causes: a missing colon after if, for, while, or def, mismatched parentheses or brackets, or an unclosed string quote. The fix is always structural. Find the exact line Python points to, or the line immediately above it, and the correct punctuation. The visual on the right shows the fix. If status is equivalent to active, colon at the end is mandatory syntax. One key subtlety. Python sometimes reports a syntax error on the line after the actual mistake. If the flagged line looks correct, check the line above it for a missing closed parenthesis or a bracket. That Python only noticed when it hit the next line. NameError means Python encountered a name it doesn't recognize. It looked up the variable and found nothing registered under that name. The three common causes: a misspelled variable name, using a variable before it's been assigned, or trying to use a variable outside its defined scope. In the example, discount rate is equal to 0.15 was defined, but then referenced as discount rate with a capital U there. It's discount rate with a capital U. One capital letter creates a completely different name that Python has never seen. The fix is always to verify the exact spelling. Python is case sensitive. Discount rate, and discount rate are all three distinct variables. Check the assignment line and the usage line and ensure they are character for character identical. 90% of the name errors are simply typos. TypeError means that you tried to perform an operation on incompatible data types. The most common source is the input trap. Classic example, result is equal to a string of 10 plus an integer of 5. Python refuses to concat a string with an integer. They're different types. It would be like trying to add a word to a number by hand and expecting a sensible result. The error message tells you exactly what happened. Can only concat str, not int to stir. The fix is always to convert variables to compatible types before operating on them. So using the int function around the string of 10 converts the string to an integer. The stir of 5 converts the integer to a string. Remember, input always returns a string. Any value collected from the user that will be used in math must be explicitly converted with integer or float before arithmetic. Value error means that the type is right, but the content is invalid. Python knows what you're asking for, but the data doesn't qualify. The classic example here is price of an int of a string of $26.99 with the dollar sign. Okay? You've correctly used int to convert a string to a number. The type call is right, but the string contains a dollar sign and a decimal point, which integers can't represent. Python can't parse a dollar sign with $26.99 and to a whole number. The fix requires 2 steps. Strip the non-numeric characters first, then convert. So remove the dollar sign with dot replace with the dollar sign and empty string. Convert to a float for the decimal, then to integer if you need a whole number. The value and the visual shows the pipeline of $26.99 converts to a float of $26.99 and then an integer of 26. Always validate that your string contains only the characters the target number type can handle before converting. IndexError and KeyError are the same bug in 2 different data structures. You asked for something that doesn't exist in the collection. IndexError hits lists. You requested an index beyond the list's bounds. So a 3-item list has indices 0, 1, and 2. Requesting sales of 3, the 4th position, crashes because it doesn't exist. Lists are 0 indexed, and the last valid index is always the length of the list minus 1. KeyError hits dictionaries. You requested a key that never stored in a dictionary. User data of name crashes if the name key doesn't exist in that dictionary. The universal fix for both is to use get with a key and then have some default value such as unknown. For dictionaries to return a default instead of crashing, for lists, check the bounds with an if index is less than the length of my list before accessing. Never assume a key or an index exists in data from external sources. This diagnostic matrix is your quick reference decoder for all 5 error types. Use it as your first stop when a script breaks. Syntax error happens before run, caused by malformed structure. Look for a missing colon. Name error happens during execution, caused by an unknown or typoed variable name. Check your spellings. Type error. This happens during the execution, caused by incompatible types. Convert to matching types. Value error. This happens during execution, caused by invalid content in a type conversion. Validate string content before converting. An error, index error, or a key error happens during execution, caused by out-of-bounds access. We use here .get or check bounds first. The timing column is particularly useful. If Python won't even start your script, it's a syntax error. If it starts and then breaks mid-execution, it's one of the other 4. The hardest bug to fix is the one that produces no tracebacks at all. The logic bug, where the code runs but the output is completely wrong. There's no error message to read, no line number to jump to. Python executed every line successfully, but somewhere in the chain, a variable was set incorrectly, an operator was flipped, or a condition evaluated the wrong way. The output is wrong, but Python doesn't know it's wrong. Only you do. This is the logic bug. It requires a different diagnostic approach than traceback errors. You can't read your way to the answer. You have to expose the hidden state of your variables at each step to find where the expected value diverges from the actual value. Print debugging is the most effective and universally applicable technique for diagnosing logic bugs. Add the print function statements to expose what your variables actually contain at each step. The contrast on the slide is stark. In silent execution, the discount error is invisible. The script runs, produces a wrong answer, and gives you nothing to work with. In print execution, print of an F string discount is equal to the discount rate in squiggly braces reveals the problem immediately. Discount rate is equal to 1.10 when it should be 0.1. One print statement finds the bug that no traceback could. A rule. Add print statements before and after every suspicious operation. Print the variable before you use it to confirm it. Hold what you expect, remove all diagnostic print statements once the logic is fixed. These 4 diagnostic habits applied consistently will resolve the vast majority of Python bugs you encounter throughout this course and your career. 1. Read bottom up. Always start at the last line of the traceback. That's the diagnosis, not the headers. 2. Check spelling first. 90% of the errors are simply typos. Before anything else, verify the variable name character by character. 3. Verify types. Ensure data types align before performing operations. Print type variable if you're unsure. 4. Print mid-step. Use the print function liberally to expose silent logic bugs. These are not workarounds. They are professional debugging practices used by senior developers daily. In the next phase, we're going to be navigating the shell, mastering the 4 or 5 core terminal commands to navigate, create, and manage your project files. We've now built a complete Python logic toolkit, variables, operators and conditionals, loops, functions, and error diagnoses. The next step is the environment those scripts live in. Professional Python development happens in the terminal, not a GUI. You need to navigate directories, create files, run scripts, and manage your project structure from the command line. The next module gives you exactly the 5 commands you need. Present working directory, our ls, our cd, our make directory, and touch. These are the foundation of professional developer workflows and the prerequisites for every project you'll build from here on forward.